Dan, do the intro. You can't just chuckle.
Look, it's Mix and Mush, everybody. Welcome to Mix and Mush. Here's the intro. Cut to interior volcano. Richard and Dan are having a nice turkey dinner when Richard says,
we might have to start this one again.
And then Dan replies, I know, we've already hit record. We can't start again. It's illegal for us to do that.
Okay, sorry. So Richard looks around and says, I'm feeling so thankful that all of my friends have arrived at our table.
Ah, yes. All our friends. Let's name them. There's the Slime Machine, Neil Breen, Tiny Tony, the old lady who is maybe Baba Yaga.
Correctly researched at the head of the table.
Yes, and head of research.
And
well done, Crackly. There is 14 turkeys, 8 of which have names.
I think in one of the earlier episodes we had a manager or a producer.
We do have a producer. I think it's I don't think we said this on the podcast, but I think we said that it was Elvis's producer who exploited him. Did we do that? Like the Colonel? I think we said that.
So, but I didn't.
No, maybe I just dreamt that. Maybe I dreamt that the Colonel was representing us.
Also the Colonel from KFC.
Yep. Colonel Sanders is here.
Sanders.
Yep. And we're not going to let him on mic because he's very racist.
Oh my God! I'm glad we're talking about it.
Listen, someone had to crack this nut. Colonel Sanders is
You heard
racist.
it here. You heard it here first on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, man.
Also, David Lynch is here.
Oh, yeah, David Lynch. Oh, that's right. Our best friend, David Lynch. Well, here's what I think. If you have to have a turkey, cut it into a 2x4. I'm just doing the old man from Fire Walk With Me, the deleted scenes. A 2x4. I wanted a 2x4. Can we get more esoteric with our references, Richard?
Why don't all of these turkeys have names?
I think, just like my 6 Woody Woodpeckers, they should be. Was it 6 or 5?
I don't remember.
Yes. David Lynch saved 5 Woody Woodpecker dolls from the side of the road, just for the record.
Also, I would like to that's also a great story, but I also want to take a second to take us back to the intro.
Oh, please.
Where I did the thing that I do sometimes that everyone loves. This is very popular. Where I say something really stupid right before we start, and then Dan chuckles or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but in the listener, I got mad at you and said, "Dan, get it together."
Yeah.
But because you were setting up the scene, made me look like a fucking monster.
Well, it's like the time that you had me sing our famous theme song.
Yeah, you're good on your feet.
I'm a consummate professional. I want to come out and make sure that people get their. I like to stretch my comedy dollar, but hey, listen, this is not about comedy. Okay, this is about food, being thankful, and the Pilgrims. Let's talk about the Pilgrim. Let's talk about the witch.
In the Robert Eggers film The Witch.
They're upset that there's no apples. I didn't really pay attention. That was most of the film.
There was a goat at one point. I think it ate a kid.
I think the goat ate a kid. I think that's right. And I don't want to be corrected, so do not leave any comments.
Oh, this one, there's no jokes.
No,
there's no comments.
Don't
ring the bell.
Half-remembered synopses of Robert Eggers movies, like The Others, not the Nicole Kidman movie. Look, I'm going to rein us back in here. Welcome back, everybody, to Mix and Mush.
It's like we're playing 7 Degrees to Kevin Bacon. Did we even introduce ourselves? Oh, we did. I'm sorry.
We did. Yeah,
okay.
We did. I think, I'm excited for this one because this is a fun holiday episode. We started the podcast at a really fun time because we had enough ramp up time to kind of lay the groundwork for who we are and what we do. And then we get to do a bunch of themes with holidays. Yeah. So pretty psyched, but I will say this, I'm going to kind of toss up our formula a little bit, not by much actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Ignore me. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about a conversation that we had in our private lives about pizza. Because you asked me the very important question, where do we rank the pizza chains.
Yes.
And this is important. And since this is our food episode, our dedicated Thanksgiving food episode, I feel that it's good to hash this out and get it on the record, not just in Discord, what this is and where they lay.
You know, there's a lot of people who are making assumptions about where we rank pizza places. And I just think, I mean, the Huffington Post has been talking about it. TMZ's been talking about it.
The Star Tribune. The Daily Herald.
Star Tribune. I believe a Minnesota newspaper.
The National Enquirer. They're all coming back.
Bat Boy, and also this is where they think Little Caesars is on the ranking. These are the big stories on the National Enquirer.
Bat Boy's our manager, I think. I think that closes the loop on that. Yeah.
He's at least at Thanksgiving. I don't know what his job is. Do you work here? Or are you just a bat person?
We save the space for him like it's Seder or something. Save the space for Bat Boy.
Dan, here's a new pitch, a Thanksgiving pitch for you. First of the season.
I'm ready.
A bumper sticker says save room for Bat Boy.
Save room for Bat Boy. I think we should say save room at the table for Bat Boy, because I don't want people to think that they need to eat him. You know?
Oh, God, dude, I'd eat Bat Boy. Oh my God, he's got so many parasites.
And he's got, parasites and problems. That's Bat Boy's MO.
And he's a guy, so
he's a human.
He's a person. Don't eat him. Are you fucking crazy? Anyway, Dan, pizza.
Yeah. Pizza. So this is an important thing, because there's so many different ways to look at this, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that what we should start with is the big three and kind of go through where they land in terms of just quality, right?
Yeah.
So the big three: Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Domino's.
Yes.
Now, I have very particular opinions about these places. I would like to hear from you, Richard. Where do you personally put these in terms of the ranking?
I think ranking is difficult, because I think what we've spoken about, like off mic, what I think you're kind of setting up in your description, very particular itch.
There's tiers.
Each one sets. Yeah, there's tiers, and these are just sort of the parameters. But like, if I am looking for something greasy, and like there's no like illusion of it being like healthy or like a smart decision, we're going Pizza Hut for me.
Yes,
they got the stuffed crust.
This may surprise people, because I think people thought you were going to say Domino's, but no, Pizza Hut is the greasy one.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, Domino's, they'll get theirs. Oh, God, they'll hear it. But,
day is coming, Domino's.
Oh, but count your fucking days. But, like, Pizza Hut does have a greasiness about it. But I think it's, like, unapologetically. Like, you kind of know what you're getting. Like, you sort of, it sets the stage, and they have, like, the paper bag colored box that's just wet.
They sure do.
Time you get it.
Just wet with grease, baby.
But I think this is something, which was my nickname in high school, catchphrase in high school, whatever you think is funnier. But I think if you are pretending to be healthy, if you're pretending to be like gourmet, that's where Papa John's comes in.
That's where Papa John's comes in.
It has that does have the illusion, and it's because they have a little pepper in there.
They have the pepper and they have the garlic sauce, which they kind of tout as being this like luxury item that they're giving you, right? Yeah. Because other places, like Pizza Hut, you have to buy the dipping sauces, right? And it may only be 50 cents, but it's an extra cost. No, not so. Papa John's will gift you a garlic sauce, their pepperoncini that they throw in the box.
Man, Shaq, the new Papa John, Shaq, really is so giving and kind, and I'm thankful for that on this day.
Yes, thank you, Shaq. But yeah, I agree. I think Papa John's is, and I think the price point reflects that. Papa John's is definitely like, of the three of those, it's the one that's kind of escaped the like fast food image a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though, let's be clear, these are all three of them fast food, like very, very much in that kind of area of like not good for you at all.
Yeah, but right? The difference is they're not fast. That's why we don't. That's right. Rope them in together.
You don't think about them that way, but it's the same kind of process. Like, first of all, they're all getting the ingredients from the same place.
Yeah, the ground. It's the floor. Not the ground, the floor. They're
not like a healthy yeah, from the floor. Yeah, they're going to other restaurants and taking things from the ground. But I do think so. Papa John's is definitely like, that's the one that feels a little bit classier. Pizza Hut, I agree. I also put Pizza Hut in the kind of nostalgic camp because I think we're in the age bracket. I don't know that this happens anymore, really, but we're in the age bracket where like you could win a personal pizza if you read enough in school.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they would have, they kind of made themselves out to be more of like a restaurant where you would come in and there would be a salad bar. And so I think like when I think Pizza Hut, I think more like, oh, that's kind of a nice thing. But then the reality that you get when you actually open the box is like, oh, this is crap. This is awful.
And if I remember correctly, and this might be the reality over like overriding the nostalgia. I believe the crust is quite high and then it gets very thin.
Yes,
I believe that's sort of their MO.
It's like a pan pizza, but without any of the good parts of pan pizza. And then you have Domino's, which is, I think, it's the black sheep, but they've done so much to reinvent themselves. It's so crazy. And like, I think that Domino's is the kind of pizza where it's like, all right, I know exactly when I'm getting Domino's. I'm getting it when it is late, nothing else is open, and I need something that I know will taste like Domino's. Not like pizza, not like Italian food. This is Domino's. It's like how McDonald's doesn't taste like a burger. It tastes like McDonald's, right?
Yes.
There's a very specific taste that Domino's has.
Let me say this and see how you feel about it.
Okay.
I feel like if you think about the relationship of like McDonald's and Burger King,
okay,
I would say that Pizza Hut and Domino's have a similar relationship.
Yes,
in that they're both very specific. They're like better or worse is almost irrelevant.
Yeah,
but like
it is.
Popularity versus like
brand. It's like
the
Coke
expectations. Coke or Pepsi, absolutely.
Yeah.
Except Coke is better.
Coke is better. Yeah.
So that's we're putting our flag in that.
Yep. But I know what you mean, and weirdly, I would extend it to say that Papa John's is kind of like Wendy's in that equation, where it's like,
oh, okay,
it kind of gives you the illusion of it being nicer, but it's just it's more slop, right?
Sure, but a very different kind of slop,
yes.
Which I think is how you break away from these sort of things.
I agree, and I think that's how they've managed to weasel their greasy little way out of it. But I think. If I had to rank them, I'm gonna. This might shock you, right? So in that tier of like the main three, I think I'm putting Domino's first, then Papa John's, then Pizza Hut.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say Domino's because one, it's just its own thing. Like it's not pizza. I feel like it's its own thing, and it's got good like side options. Papa John's is when like, all right, I want something maybe with a little more veg on it, you know, because they do a little bit better with fresh vegetables. And then Pizza Hut is like, I am in dire straits, and I think that I think that I need something a little bit different. But it's not just the big three; it's also the also-rans, the runner-ups, the jokes. The crappy ones,
the bad ones.
The bad Some of them are okay, right?
Yeah.
So this is where we may get some regional differences because I know like the Midwest is like the mecca for weird food, like weird fast food stuff. It's like everything gets tried out with you guys. You guys have every fast food chain. I don't know what it is, but when I think like this tier, I'm thinking like Little Caesars. Marco's Pizza.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Marco's.
You forgot about Marco's, yeah. Peter Piper Pizza, right? Like, that might just be a Texas one.
Sure.
But they're all the, like, and I'm using air quotes very intentionally, budget pizzas, even though they're really kind of the same price as the other three at this point.
So let me just throw a few regionals in here.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Topper's Pizza?
No.
We could do a whole episode about Topper's Pizza, even if you've never been there.
Okay.
Also, Casey's Pizza, which we've talked about before.
Yep.
And I've sent you an image of the
breakfast
bounty.
pizza.
Yeah, which is next level. But toppers, their novelty is you can get anything on there. So you can get
Anything.
Buffalo chicken, cheese curds, tater tots,
Okay.
noodles like for macaroni
Noodles.
pizza. Not a joke. There's other stuff on there. Cannot remember it right now.
So it's
but-
just mayhem, is what you're telling me.
It's basically like, what if you had like a not very good pizza, but you could put slop on it, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, slow down.
You had me at slop.
You had me. Which was basically the last thing you said, but that's what it was.
I felt it coming. I felt the slop. As soon as you said noodles on pizza, I thought slop would be in your vocabulary.
I looked at it and I said, man, the only thing that can make this better is some slop. And then it came.
And then it came. And then the slop arrived on a magical balloon of slop.
Oh, blessed day. The slop fairy.
Oh man. There is something kind of fun about those places where it's like, so the way that I think about it is kind of like, all right, it's like the who are we kidding places, you know, like, all right, let's be honest here. Like you're trying to get a quote unquote pizza at Papa John's. We cannot legally call whatever you just described the toppers pizza at that point, right?
Yeah, mound
It's
of
like
something.
It's like a marinara casserole.
Or you get nacho cheese instead of the sauce.
Ew.
Is you at nacho cheese. Get off your high horse, your tall
No,
tower.
look, nacho cheese is fine, but I'm thinking of the color palette of that pizza, and it really upset me.
There's a beigeness to it that I think I would rather not have. I think when you say it like that.
Oh, yeah, I don't see these places. Like, I feel like Little Caesars is kind of not kind of. It is the head of the pack of these because it's got brand recognition. It's got like the hot and ready slogan. Like it knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
But I think that it's never going to break free from this tier because it's always going to be in people's minds as one of the budget ones, where it's like, I'm not buying a DiGiorno, but I might as well be if I'm going to Little Caesars.
This is maybe our first fight on Mix and Mush.
Let's do it. Let's throw it down.
I would say Little Caesars is quite a bit better than DiGiorno pizza.
Oh yeah, well, okay, I would agree with you there.
Okay,
but I'm saying like, if I'm like, for the price point and the kind of like it might as well be a takeaway pizza that you make yourself.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's not like Papa John's. I think they at least throw the dough. You know, I don't know if that ever happens in a Little Caesars.
Yeah, they just
Or
de-thought
Marco's.
or unthought. And,
Yeah, it's like a Totino's pizza party in there. I think
I mean, why don't they have a restaurant?
they could make tons of money.
They could really kill it, I think.
If they were just open between 11 p.m. and 3 in the morning, they would make a killing.
I mean, that would in the Midwest that would be big because all there is here to do is drink.
And eat
So
Totinos.
now I'm just going through because there's also like Jets Pizza. I'm not sure if that.
I don't know, Jets. Yeah,
I
see,
think
this is what
might
I'm
be
saying,
Minnesota,
the Midwest.
but it's like their it's like deep dish square pizza.
Okay,
It's
so
very
yeah,
powerful.
that's the other part of this is that there's like sometimes you'll get like an errant Uno pizza, you know, that shows up like it's the Chicago place, but not really. But it is it's different enough that it's not like going to Pizza Hut, right? That I would also consider in this tier. Like they're not the name recognition of the top three, but they're fine, you know? They're a little bit cheaper sometimes and they're fine.
But I think that's also something you have to get into with like local places. I'll stop listing local places, but because the price doesn't always stay below. Like if we're talking about chain restaurants, the price is usually pretty consistently below like the big three. But if
That's
you're getting
true.
into like novelty, or not novelty, but like specific and
Or
that
local
sort of
places.
thing, local places,
Yeah.
you'll probably pay a premium on that.
Well, so this is. I feel like there's a couple of other tiers that we can go into before we get to like local pizza because usually that's pretty good. Like it's well, I say that it kind of runs the gamut a little bit.
Yeah, it's more of a crapshoot, I think.
It's a crapshoot. Yeah, it's really up to you. But I think like I'm open to suggestion about this tier, but I think
Okay.
that any mall pizza okay? Like a Sparrow or like a, I don't know, just like a random place that like, I bought this place in the food court because it had a pizza oven, you know?
Sure.
Any of those places, I think, are in the same tier as a CC's Pizza.
I think that's fair.
Does that feel right?
I think that's fair.
They're different business models. CC's Pizza is a buffet, but I feel like the quality is the same, where it's like just you're just coming in to fill your stomach with anything.
Well, that brings me to another one that I should have done more research. This is the one episode I should have really hit the books for.
Prepared for.
I feel prepared for. Because usually it's just nonsense, but this is factual. This is important.
Heavy hitting stuff. Yeah,
this is going to be at the Snack Con 2025, our booth. There's a place called Pizza Ranch. Are you familiar with this entity?
No.
So I believe it's Midwest, like Upper Midwest.
Okay.
And it is a cowboy-themed pizza buffet that also has fried, but it also has like fried chicken. It also has like mashed potatoes, potato wedges. It's sort of like
it's like Golden Corral, but with pizza.
It's Golden Corral if it was only like pizza and then foods that you assume a cowboy would eat. I think is sort of
potato wedges,
like potato wedges and mashed potatoes. But I think that's a similar vein where like quality, they're like fine, but you're in for a purpose.
Yeah,
you're bulking up for the winter.
That's right. You're going into hibernation. How can I spend as little while eating the most I can, basically, right? And sometimes mall pizza doesn't. That's why I say the business models are different, but I think they're in the same tier quality-wise.
Yeah.
That's how I feel in my heart. That's what
I need sustenance.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, and I need sustenance, and that is the only thing that is giving off a smell in this food court. So I'm gonna go get that pizza because I think it might be food.
And you walk by one of the, I don't know what they call it, like Great Walk or whatever. Those like
a
Chinese
Saku
ones,
Japan,
and everything's just sort of brown. Yeah, like, I don't know about you.
I can't. There's no. If I wasn't seeing this, I wouldn't know this was in front of me. So I don't trust it.
If I got to go to bed right after this, maybe. But I got other stuff to do.
Yeah, I gotta eat a flimsy piece of pizza that might as well be a napkin with grease on it. But at least I know that I'm tasting pizza. Oh. So then, after that, I think that is when you have local places. And local places are really as we said, it's a crapshoot. Because sometimes you run into an amazing place, right?
Yeah.
But then some other times you run into a place that has pizza like as an excuse to have a building or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's even worse is when it's a restaurant that has pizza, but it's not like a pizza place.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that? And it's just
yes,
it just so happens that they have pizza and you fall for it.
We can do it. Yeah, like we have an oven. It's not a pizza oven, but we have an oven that is capable of making pizza.
There's a pizza place in town here that I ordered from like DoorDash, because DoorDash got big during quarantine and that sort of thing. I'd never seen it before, and they brought some of the most mediocre food I've ever had in my entire life.
Fantastic.
And I did some research, and it's because it was attached to the restaurant, attached to the movie theater. So it was not not an Italian experience, is which I was looking for.
You were looking for a true taste of Tuscany, and what you got instead was Regal Cinema's heated up pizza. So that's been really deceptive, because like I don't know if you do this now, but I won't order from a local place unless I know where it is, because after the quarantine, so many of those places came up. What are they called? Like temporary kitchens or something?
I think they're ghost kitchens.
If
I'm thinking of the right thing.
Yes, where it's like they're like pop-up places where they just make. I mean, they're basically taking like whatever's in Target's freezer and putting that through like an industrial cooker and then sending it off to you for $400 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's real. They stuck around, which is the crazy thing. Like they didn't go away with the pandemic; they're still here, and so it's like a total dice roll. Like I'll go on DoorDash or Uber Eats or something, and I'll see something that's like, it'll have like a catchy name like Super Pizza or something, and then you open it up and it's like, this address doesn't exist. How is this getting to me?
Address doesn't exist.
Where's this phantom pizza?
I got real bad. Got is maybe a little layman way to say that, but they got me. I don't remember the name of it, but it was just some like restaurant, and I thought it was like new, and I was like, okay, sure. It was Red Robin. Also, where the fuck's a Red Robin?
I know.
I couldn't even tell you where it was.
There's a thing that I don't even know if it's a real restaurant. It's called like Maggiano Little Italy, and I don't know if it's its own restaurant or if it's just like a TGI Fridays offshoot. I don't know anymore. This is the problem with our country.
Dan just slammed his fist down on his desk.
I'm up on my pulpit, and I've got my gavel. I have my own gavel that I made out of I don't know, a pizza box, and I'm angry.
The Ninja Turtles are the bailiffs. Is that anything? Is that?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, let's
get them out of here, Leonardo.
Kick them to death. Yeah. Which is what they did on that show.
They kicked him to death.
Shredder, I'm gonna kick you to death.
I'm just thinking of the old like 90s opening where it would be like a freeze frame of the episode with the title, and it just says like Leonardo kick Shredder to death, directed by so and so.
Got a little dark towards the end there.
Yeah, they solved the Shredder problem by kicking him to death.
It's so much easier to go into Dimension X.
On the subject of pizza and the Ninja Turtles, because obviously there's a lot of connective tissue there.
Sure, of course.
Who was delivering that pizza to them?
Well, Dan, if you remember the 1990 movie where Domino's delivers to the brothers,
Was it Domino's?
Green, they slid it through the vent or through the sewer grate.
Just put it in the sewer.
And I don't think that's because that's a good point, because I don't think you could get like a Domino's in real life. Not in, Ninja Turtles aren't real. Sorry, kids, but
no. Sorry, kids and Dan, they're not real.
Oh, sorry, Dan. I'm sorry you had to find out about it this way.
Oh no. I'll get over it. But yeah, I think I always loved the way that the pizza looked on that show. Because it's like, animated pizza looks better than any pizza that's ever existed.
Yeah. Goofy movie? Are you kidding?
Oh, forget about it. Hey,
Mamma mia.
Maron, the Goofy movie.
Classic Italian cinema.
El Goofy movie. Oh, man. Yeah, I think that pizza is, I take it very seriously.
Oh, of course.
I love pizza. And I think that it's hard to totally mess it up. But I think when people say like there's no such thing as bad pizza, that's not true. Yeah. Because there's definitely bad pizza. The difference is even the worst pizza is still okay most of the time.
I think it's made up of all the good stuff, even the worst one.
Yeah.
It has like the familiar ingredients. I think there are times where I don't care if the pizza's good in my life. But to say that as like a blanket statement, I think is wrong, is dangerous, really.
It's irresponsible.
It's irresponsible.
Stop saying this. Our children are walking the streets thinking that pizza can be good all the time. Don't do this to them.
They're looking for the Ninja Turtles, and they're not there.
They're falling into sewer grates. They're going to Domino's. We must stop this.
And when I'm mayor of New York City,
we'll oust the Ninja Turtles from our sewers. What's the deal with Shredder? Or what's the deal with Splinter? What is he doing? Is he their dad? What's going on there?
And that's why the new chief of police, Shredder, which would be better if I knew his name. Can't remember it. Not important.
They elect the new commissioner of the NYPD is just a guy in a samurai helmet. Like, yes, his name is Shredder. He'll be leading us into the next term here. His schedule is a little interesting. Most of it has to do with turtles, which we're still we're roundtabling that with him, but we're confident we'll come to a quorum with him. He seems reasonable, this Shredder.
He seems like a reasonable guy. He asks for very little. Gets to dress like a samurai. No turtles. That's really all he asks.
You know what he wants. And as a boss, that's important. I could do without all of these smoking teenagers being in the precinct with all the Foot Clan members.
Oh, also, I'm Krang. I don't know if I explained that to you. I'm the new mayor of New York, Krang.
I'm Krang, by the way.
You may be wondering, who is this big brain monster?
Who is this piece of bubblegum living in a giant ogre?
That's me.
Krang.
It's Krang.
Your new mayor.
It's your buddy.
You know
Krang.
when you were all voting and you saw Krang on the ballot and you said, "I want that guy." This is who he is.
You said Republican no, Democrat no, third party no. Dimension X. That's interesting. I wonder what that is.
Excellent. Well, I can only assume that with Krang and Shredder at the helm, the future of New York City is in capable hands. Or little nubs, or whatever Krang has.
Tendrils.
He's got little tendrils.
Oh, man, I wish I remembered what Krang sounded like, but it's
a lot of this.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of spittle in his mouth, I think. I'm mostly spit, I think.
He sounds worse every time I hear him. Every time I think I know what he sounds like, he sounds worse.
He does sound worse, and there's more snorts than you would think in his speech. Like, he snorts an awful lot. It's strange.
And their friend Dr. Baxter is like, I turned into a fly. And then Leonardo's like, I'm going to kick you to death.
I'm going to kick you to death. That's what I do. I kick you to death.
The Ninja Turtles. I was going to do Splinter. I realized that is a dangerous game to play because he does have a thick Japanese accent. Yeah. So hopefully I didn't go too far with just that. But
yeah, you're that is some dangerous territory that you could get into. I love the idea that like Michelangelo is a party dude. Leonardo kicks people to death. That's what he does. We send him to kick people to death. Raphael does machines.
He has big boots instead of swords. Leonardo, don't you think you need weapons? Nah, I think I'll be all right.
I think I'm good. I'm a big monster. We're all monsters. I'm just going to kick him to death.
He has an existential crisis. That's why this happens. Just smoking a cigarette in the corner in the dark.
That always made me sad for the Ninja Turtles because it's like they're not... Because I think in the cartoon, Splinter was a man who turned into a rat. Right?
I believe so.
But then I think in the movies... And maybe even in the comics, I think he was a rat who just learned karate and ninjutsu.
I think in the movie, at least, he was his owner taught him kung fu because he was a rat. And he learned martial arts from I believe his name is Yoshi. I believe was the name of his owner.
His owner, Yoshi. That's like, oh man, he might as well be called like Ninja Joe Yoshi. It's so silly.
I think I'll look it up later, but I'm
think you're
sure
right,
that's
though.
right.
I think it was Master Yoshi. I think you're right.
When you say it like that might not be right. It's Ninja Turtles it's so complicated.
It is. It's weirdly complicated.
It's more like Dragon Ball Z than I want it to be, I think.
That's a really
it's
good
like
comparison.
Weirdly similar.
Yeah. Where it's like it's the same level of this is very silly and yet I'm taking it very seriously. Right? Yeah. Like when you explain it to somebody else, they're like, "What are you watching?" And then you like get them to watch it, and you're like, "Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
it's good."
Yeah. But if you're just watching, it's like, well, they're from the future. They're from another dimension. They're robots. She's magic. It's just like going down the line.
He's Japanese.
Seems weird you pointed that one out, but sure.
Hey, the show did, not me.
That's Leonardo. Oh, do not get near his legs. Oh my God, you don't want to get near him.
He should be in jail. I don't know what he's doing.
I think this might be my brother and me joke, so I apologize. Do turtles go to prison if they get caught for crimes?
Yeah, what would they do? Would they send them to the zoo?
I think Griffin McElroy suggested they send him to the zoo.
I think you'd send him to the zoo, or you'd send him to... I mean, if you want to be really cruel, you would send him to, like... You'd send him to, like, wherever Dr. Baxter worked, right? Like, on the ooze. Where it's like,
sure.
All right, you're going to be... We're conducting ooze experiments on you, Leonardo. Put those legs away. Stop kicking all the scientists.
Stop kicking me. Like he's almost like more annoyed. Stop it.
I love our character, Murder Kicker Leonardo.
It's almost not important that he's a Ninja Turtle.
No, he could just be a guy with really strong shoes.
I like the idea. We could talk. I want to talk more about pizza, but real quick, I want to put this in the world.
Yeah.
The idea of Splinter being deported
to Japan.
for crimes And he's like, I'm still a big rat, right? Like this isn't it's not a fix.
I don't know where I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
or like
they don't have.
if it's the storyline where he is just a rat who got mutated, it's like, I live here. I just have a Japanese accent. I was born here. I'm a rat.
I'm a rat, right?
Yeah, I was born in the suit. You're taking me from my home. I live down there with my 4 teenage boys, one of whom is a murder kicker.
Get him out of here. That's okay.
You can take Leonardo.
Yeah. Also, their sister Venus de Milo, which is a real Ninja Turtle.
The Lady Ninja Turtle.
The Lady Ninja Turtle.
Venus.
What a stupid show. I'm just kidding. I like that show very much.
Stupid show. That's where you draw the line when a woman comes in.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
She was in the live action television show. That's why it's
Venus
stupid.
de Milo.
It's not because she's a woman. I obviously have no problem with the turtle woman.
My line is drawn. That is how most people on YouTube operate, though. Is like, listen, I'll believe that a disgraced angel can be thrown to earth and make a bunch of rings that control dwarves and elves and men, but I will not tolerate having a lady be around them.
It's like that Star Wars conversation all over again.
Just dumb. I think
dumb.
the nice thing about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that it was like a joke that I'm pretty sure, like, is it Eastman and somebody, the people who created the Ninja Turtles?
I don't remember.
They did it as like a joke because it was like mocking kind of, I think it was mocking like Image Comics,
I think maybe Batman, something like that. It was mocking something.
Something like had taken this turn where it's like everything's dark and gritty, and it's like you could make anything like sell if you just like put these things in it. And it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they did like a run where they took themselves seriously, but it was like really, it was a joke to them, and it was like a very short run, but then it blew up incredibly, and it became like the thing that they were making fun of, which I think is great.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you knew this or I told you, but I have recently watched a Ninja Turtle documentary.
You did not tell me this.
Say that. I think it was called Turtle Power. And they talk about it a little bit. Yeah. It's got the creators. They talk about how they made like a limited run with their own money, and then like they sold out immediately, and then just like got away from them. Really
cool art too. Like the black and white. That first run, right? Like where they're all kind of angular, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's it's quite cool. I think I might have to get my hands on one.
I think it'd be cool to get like a paperback of it, because I think I love stories like that where this thing that in one medium is actually based on like a short story or a comic book or something. And when you go back to look at it, you're like, oh wow, this is like did you know that The Mask is based on a comic?
I did know that.
And that comic is incredibly weird. It's outstandingly strange.
I think it's violent as well.
It's so violent.
Like absurdly violent.
So many people die in it violently.
and not to spoil the Ninja Turtles original comic run, but Donatello dies in one of them.
That's right.
And they put his head in I think in a robot called Robot Turtle Man. I don't remember. Robotello. Robotessin.
Robotessin. I'm going to put you to sleep. I'm going to get my brother to kick you to death.
Leo, please, get over here.
I need your legs.
I need those strong legs.
Oh, man. Well, I think, so as this is our Thanksgiving episode, I thought it would be kind of fun to maybe do like what are we thankful for in media? That could be kind of fun.
Okay.
I'm springing this on you, but I thought, why not with the theming? We did food. We did our pizza takes. Do you have any final thoughts on pizza, which I'm sure will come up again in our lives?
Oh, dude. I bet this episode it's going to boil up again. I'm a big fan. I have a very live and let live attitude about it. Sure. But I do want to ask you, and there is no wrong answer, but I must know.
Okay. Pineapple
on pizza. How are we feeling?
I like it with Canadian bacon because if somebody says I'm getting that, then I adjust my brain and I say, great, I will eat that, right? If it's a surprise, no thank you. But if I want it, I like it. I don't think it's a problem. I like the sweet and salty, the savory kind of mix.
Sure.
That can be really good. Yeah, I think it's more of an argument than it needs to be. And I think that people who say that it's not natural or whatever, it's like it's an abomination. People get very, it's like, okay, this is as good a time as any to bring up the time that we both lived through on the internet, which was when bacon was a punchline.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Don't you consider the pineapple debate to be kind of in that realm of like, all right, I do have strong opinions on it because I like food and I'm a big fat boy, but I don't like, I'm not going to make it my whole identity to argue about pineapple on pizza.
You know what I think it is? And I don't know if this will stick or this will land. I think when as the video game console wars started getting more and more like ludicrous and like not important, people had to find something else to care about.
You're probably spot on, actually.
They just were like, what about this? And it's just like, actually nobody cares about that, homie. And I do like pineapple on pizza. Like I would say if I'm getting pizza for just me, I usually do that. But depending on the place, like if you're having a Papa John's, right? With pineapple with like garlic dipping butter.
Weird. Yeah.
Not my favorite.
No.
or if I'm like, or if they have like a specific ranch flavor or something that I like.
Yeah.
The idea that it's like, oh, also pineapple's here.
It's got to be, I think the key is that the pineapple has to be like the focus of the pizza. Like it has to be the most like noticeable flavor because it's going to be, right? Because it's pineapple. So you have to like go into it saying like, that is, everything needs to be in complement to the pineapple. So like Canadian bacon is good. Normal bacon is fine too. But yeah, you don't want to go with like the garlic crust or the dipping sauce or a different kind of sauce because it's gonna conflict with it too much. And it's like, look, you got to think about this like Gordon Ramsay would think about it. All right, what is the forward flavor in this pizza? If it's pineapple, make that sing. You don't need garlic in it if you're gonna put pineapple on it. And then
weirdly beautiful.
Well, thank you.
So passionate. Let me turn you on to this though. This isn't for everyone. But Canadian bacon and pineapple, classic, reliable.
Yeah.
Pepperoni and pineapple.
Sounds good.
Get some of that sweet heat in there.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a game changer. That's all I'll say on the matter.
I might order that for dinner. I'm not even kidding.
I might also order that for dinner. I might deal with lactose intolerance to handle it for one last hurrah.
One last hurrah. Oh man. I think look, if you're gonna get a weird pizza topping, and I use the term advisedly, weird, then own it. Like, if you like it, that's great, I think, like you're saying, when it gets annoying is when you try to foist it on other people. It's like, I'm ordering pineapple and pepperoni and all of you can go to hell. Like, no, don't be like that.
That's loser shit, man. Yeah. We don't do that. But here's the thing. There are pizza toppings that are unforgivable.
Go on. Are they at Toppers? Because it sounds like
Toppers they got motor oil, they got toothpaste, they got rocks and pebbles.
Marzipan.
Mole sauce.
No,
I don't know if they do. Probably not. But
not anymore.
Olives are the one that I find unforgivable.
Like olives on pizza.
I don't like olives anyway. That's just me.
What kind? Black or Kalamata? Either.
Okay. I just don't like olives. That's me being bitter. That's not relevant to anything.
I will say I like olives, but I can agree with you on them on the pizza thing because something about them being on pizza makes them more olivey than they are, and I don't know how to explain it otherwise. But it's like I had pizza the other day and there was a rogue olive that I didn't order, and it was like it was like from some other pizza that was
an assassination attempt.
It was an attempt. The attempt on my life has left me scarred and disfigured, and I will say that those who are responsible will pay. With another pizza that I will order
and pay for. So I don't really know the.
But it was so like briny. I couldn't believe it. Like, and I feel like that's what I don't like about olives on pizza. I don't mind an olive in a salad, but on the pizza, it's like unless it's just olive pizza, it overpowers everything. It's like pineapple. It's like it just overpowers everything, and that's what you got to be careful with.
I think you're right. The idea that both that you have to let something sing, which was powerful, but also the idea that you have to set up a world for that because you can sometimes get Alfredo sauce on pizza, right? Like like a creamy white sauce. That isn't interchangeable with everything. You can't always. I don't think you can always have a creamy. I'm trying to say this without sounding disgusting.
Lay into it,
but
brother.
you can't just splurt and splorsh that white creamy stuff all over. With reckless abandon. That's how you get illegitimate kids.
That's right.
Hey-o. Sorry, everybody. That wasn't appropriate.
Take that.
I mean, I don't want to give you more work, so don't bleep this. But I like the idea that all being bleeped, and then just be like, "Sorry, everybody," but don't do that. But
man. But
we were transitioning to things we're thankful for in film and cinema.
Yeah. So I think I like the diversion though, because it's an important conversation to stake our claim in with pineapple and other strange toppings.
I agree.
But yeah, I think in the spirit of what I am thankful for, not being funny, I find that as I get older, I appreciate movies, books, video games, whatever, that take themselves seriously, even if it's a silly concept. And I watched this movie on Halloween called Carved on Hulu, and it's about a killer pumpkin. And it sounds stupid, and it was, but it never winked at the camera. Like, it took its premise so seriously. And I was so, like, I had such a good time because at no point was any character like, this is ridiculous. A moving pumpkin. What are we in a movie? Like, shut up. Stop it. Like, if you're making the movie, you're committed to the idea. Don't wink at the audience to show how ashamed of it you are. Like, go full bore into it. So I feel like that's the older I get and the more media I consume, the more I'm like, yeah, if you have a dumb premise, like, lay into it and explore it because it's way more interesting.
I absolutely agree. Have you ever seen the movie Zombiever?
No, you've told me about it though.
Okay, I can't stop talking about it. But it's just this movie that's like a zombie beaver movie. If you couldn't get that from the title, and I only saw it once, but I remember it being taken very seriously. And I think at the time I wasn't sure if I liked it or didn't like it. But now that I'm older, like movies like Slither that are like so ridiculous, they're just like we're moving on. We're moving along here.
Such earnestness, right? Yeah. Like James, and that's why I'm excited about James Gunn's Superman movie, like unironically, because like he doesn't he's not ashamed of what he's making ever. Like it's always like, this is important to me. I'm doing it, whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy or Slither or Romeo and Juliet. Like I'm doing this. So.
Wow, what a collection of those movies.
The great triple feature, yeah.
But I think like taking yourself seriously or taking whatever you're doing very seriously is very funny. Not to the point where like you can't understand that you're joking, because that's also dangerous. I think where it's like you're selling something ridiculous very seriously, and it's like the goofballness of it. Yeah. But speaking of just like I'm thankful for things that you're nostalgic for holding up in a way that either still resonates with you or resonated with you the same way it did back then, because I just recently watched the Digimon movie, Digimon 2000, and I watched it with my friend Dylan. It was a fucking trip. It was
a blast.
I don't even know if it was good or bad. It was just such a joyride and like so much fun, and just to relive that after who knows how long, 24 years.
It's one of those. I totally know what you're coming from, because it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, this is exactly as I remember it, and I'm experiencing it the same way I did when I first saw it. This is great, yeah. And whether it's because I have a renewed passion for it or I'm just excited, doesn't matter. Like the feeling that I had when I watched it as a kid is comparable to the feeling I have watching it now. Yeah. And I got to tell you, when Bare Naked Ladies plays on that soundtrack, I'm all in, baby.
It was such a dream. So Dylan's my cousin, so he and I have known each other for a while, and since day one basically. Yeah. And the whole movie, he kept talking about Kids in America. like that cover of that song, the whole movie, he's like, why the fuck are they playing that stupid song? And it's literally it starts like the second the credits start.
That's awesome.
So it really felt like such a big payoff of like, finally we all got what we wanted.
Yeah. Because for a while there, I would think like, no, you're thinking of the Jimmy Neutron movie.
I kept telling him that. It's like you were in the room with us. I literally kept saying, I'm pretty sure that's the Jimmy Neutron movie.
Yeah.
Which we also watched together recently.
Also funny. Just a weird... I do find that we are coming into... with you and I and people our age going into like higher tax brackets, we are going into 2000s nostalgia, which is really funny to me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's so I feel like I finally get what our parents must have felt like when 80s nostalgia was coming out, where it's like you look at something and you're like, you weren't there, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I watched this movie and I had to turn it off, which I don't do often, but I was just so bored by it, called Time Cut on Netflix. Yeah, it's a stupid name. I don't get it. It's, I think, written by the same person who did Totally Killer, which is a movie that I found kind of okay. But it's like the exact same premise. Like somebody goes back in time to stop a serial killer. It's bizarre. Like I don't know. I don't really. I'll have to look into the behind the scenes of it. Okay. But this the main character goes back to 2003, and as she was walking through the halls of her high school and like hearing people say 2003 things, I'm like, no, this is not right. This is not right. Where are the Jenko jeans? Where are the Slipknot tapes? None of these people are from the 2000s. This is not correct.
Was there wallet chains?
There were no wallet chains. Nary a wallet chain to be seen.
What? Okay, there must have been Fox Racing T-shirts.
I have bad news. Not only was there not Fox Racing T-shirts, but there wasn't even a Billabong sweater or a Monster Energy drink anywhere in there.
Or I could do this forever, but I'll just jump to the chase. Hollister. What else was in there? Aeropostale.
Abercrombie and Fitch. Yep. Yeah. None of them that were there, and nobody was. Nobody had like one of those. one of those phones that flipped sideways and it turned into a keyboard. Nothing. There's nothing. So I don't know. I think 0 stars for that and many other reasons. But
what a shame.
I know it. But yeah, I like that. The nostalgia holding up is. I think it's important because it's not like you're. Maybe the cool thing about getting older is that you just take different joy from something that you enjoyed as a kid. You know, like I do think that you can watch. Let me ask you this: when you were watching the Digimon movie, were you guys hyped when the virus Digimon was stopped, or was it like this is silly, or did you get into it?
It was pretty hyped the whole way through.
Okay,
I don't know when the last time you watched it, but it's
pretty great.
Here's something I didn't know, and maybe you know this because you're smarter than I am. When you went to college,
I don't know about that.
But I didn't know the Digimon movie was three movies cut together. I didn't know that, and so I was a little confused.
That's why. That's why the animation style is different between like the acts, really, and they cut them together. And actually, the one that's here's my movie recommendation. So, based on the Digimon movie, the middle one, which is like the best part, where Tai and Izzy, they're trying to stop the virus Digimon, right? That original story was made by this guy who went on to make a movie called Summer Wars, which is an anime movie. It's like a one-shot anime movie that's basically the plot of that part of the Digimon movie, and it's really good.
That was probably the best part too.
Yeah. Like, if you want to see like a fleshed out version of that's not just 25, 30 minutes, like watch Summer Wars, because it's what that guy clearly wanted to do. And it was like, all right, we can make this work in Digimon because it's digital monsters, but really this guy wants to tell like a virus story, about saving the world from a nuclear problem.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing, I would never criticize the Digimon movie. But it's really disconnected. And now that I know that, it makes perfect sense, because the first part, the animation is very smooth and cool, and there's like this big fight scene,
Yeah.
And then there's like really like the virus design is so cool. I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember, but it's such
What's
a great
his name?
design.
Is it just Viromon?
I think it's Gumpo, but I think Gumpo is there, and he's. I don't remember.
He's the one Digimon without Mon in his name.
Oh, fuck. If I was trying to sell it, I should have put Mon on it at least. But they even have like the fusion evolution, whose name I can't remember. Like they go whole hog against the virus and they get him. And then they cut to this new one, which is like the second generation Digimon characters.
Yeah. And it's like they try to weirdly connect it where it's like, oh, the virus was reborn in the twin of this other Digimon or something.
Yeah,
right?
that was in America. Then they went to the United States, and
which I would like to track down that story in Japanese because I bet it's pretty good. You know, like I think they totally rewrote it. But the idea of like, because I watch Digimon pretty regularly, like the idea of there being two Digimon from the same egg or code or whatever, that's a cool idea. And I think that's what they were doing with them, right? Like they were both from the same egg or something.
They kept calling them twins. I believe that
twins.
is it.
Yeah.
Like I think all three of those could stand really firmly as a movie. But
the first one's amazing. I love too that it's like there was this weird thing that happened in Tokyo that no one remembers, but the kids who saw it are the Digidestined. That's great.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing. And I think that's true. Like that's canon. That's not just something they made up for the show, for the movie. So,
and then for them to just be like, and then all of Digimon happened. And
Yeah.
now we're fighting the virus.
all of Digimon happened, and Matt and Tai hate each other for some reason. I think they like the same. I think they both like Sora. I don't know.
I don't remember. I just watched. I don't remember.
Who knows? Oh man.
Oh man.
Well, I think the other thing that I'm thankful for, and I will get sappy, is our show because this has been so much fun, and I'm so excited to keep doing it. But it's funny. So for some inside baseball for everybody listening, Richard and I met on Studying Pixels, the podcast I used to do with Stefan Heinrich Simond, our friend from Germany, and ever since then, we were like, we need to do something together. And then like a few months ago, we were like, maybe we should do that. and Mix and Mush was born.
Well, I think like it's one of those things where I think we had plans and like genuine aspiration to do something sooner.
Yeah.
But I think just the way life worked out, I would have like I'm glad Mix and Mush exists how it exists.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have rushed or put off it in any way because it might have been different. And just the idea of like clicking, like I'll be a little sappy too, just while we're doing it. Like,
Please.
I feel like we clicked pretty hard, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That we just kind of, and maybe it was because we were the only Americans in an old German production team. Sorry, everybody. But I just feel like we had like a lot of similar interests, and then then we talked more about.
Time and time again.
I mean, now it's unmistakable. Now we were raised together at birth at this point. But just the idea that everything sort of came together and just had so many similar like opinions about stuff and like points of views, and like even the things we like disagree on, like I was gonna make something up, but I couldn't. I'm being a little too sappy to pull a joke out of nowhere. I feel like we have a lot of like the same point of views on things, and it's just like. All came together, and it's also just a nice thing to just sit down and do something fun that has no like pressure on it. Really,
I think one thing that people say about podcasts is that it's like a friend simulator, like hanging out with people, right? Mm-hmm. And I think like it's not talked about enough that if you have a fun podcast, it is just like hanging out, like when you do it, which is also nice. So yeah, that's been good. But yeah, I think we've had a really. I love how we've been doing it, and I love that we've got some good fans and some good listeners, and I think we have a lot more mixing and mushing to do. So I'll sign off by saying, if you come anywhere near one of our 14 turkeys, I will send Leonardo to kick you to death, and I'm not joking.
And this is sad, and I wish we didn't have to say this, but Leonardo's probably going to kick some of the ones that we didn't name.
And I'm not thrilled about it.
It's just what's going to happen.
It's the price of admission for Leonardo's kick death. And I'm, who am I to take that from him?
Yeah, and also, what the fuck are we going to do about it?
I can't stop him. I'm terrified of him. He's a
so
giant
strong.
monster.
He's got strong legs. He's basically he's like a turtle, but he's basically a frog with those legs.
He's mutated. He's a mutant.
Even more powerful.
I'm terrified of him. You'd think that the radioactivity would make him weak and brittle, but no. He's very strong.
That's a twist they never tackled in the TMNT show, did they?
That
Or
they just
just
get
slowly
weaker and
started
weaker.
rotting away
Yeah.
for radiation poisoning.
Oh, man.
And on that note,
on that happy note. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.